Welcome to my channel. I am currently offering free psychic tarot readings. So take a look in the description box below and check out the link to my Etsy store to get yours today.
Hi Starlights, welcome back to my channel and welcome if you're new here as well. This will be a deck comparison between the Light Seers Tarot by Chris Ann and the Modern Witch Tarot deck by Lisa Sterle. So I have had the Light Seers Tarot now for a little while, and it has become my favorite deck. It has become the deck that I use for pretty much all of my readings, and I really like the imagery, but a lot of the imagery in the Light Seers Tarot is a bit different than the traditional rider-waite interpretation. And so I like to work with more than one deck, especially in my personal readings and in my pick a card readings on YouTube, because different imagery and different depictions or interpretations of the card help me give more nuanced readings depending on what deck I feel drawn to, or if I pick a mix of cards from different decks, I can really get more information. So I wanted to do a side-by-side comparison of these two decks because I just got yesterday the Modern Witch Tarot, and I just took it out of the box. So this is the first time I'm seeing it as well. So let's take a peek side-by-side at how these two decks compare to one another. I'll give you a quick look at the box first. The boxes are quite different. So the Light Seers Tarot opens from the side. The deck goes right in the bottom, and then you have your guidebook right in there. It's quite thick too. It's a nice little guidebook. I really like the Light Seers guidebook. I use it regularly. The Modern Witch Tarot deck actually opens this way. So it opens up, which is really cool, but it makes taking out the deck a little tricky. I find that I have to dump it over and then cards kind of get stuck. So I don't love that part about it, but inside's really, really neat. Yeah, I really like the style of the box, but if there was an easier way to pull out the deck, that would be nice. And then this is the guidebook. I like that it's hardcover, but it's really tiny. Like there's like really small. So nice for travel size, I guess, but I don't know how much I'll really use it because there aren't really keywords and stuff, just generic definitions. So let's take a peek now at the actual cards themselves. And I'm just gonna do kind of a quick flip through, and if anything pops out to me in terms of the imagery, I guess I'll kind of say so. And actually something is already popping out to me right away. In the traditional rider-waite, so the Modern Witch is really based on rider-waite, but made with a modern twist, which I like that. I don't feel very drawn to the rider-waite imagery, and so that's why I don't have one of those decks. But I did learn based off the rider-waite system, so I wanted to have one in my collection. So this is the one I chose. And what I noticed right away is this one's very traditional in that she's facing away from the sun. She's turning towards her new adventure. Her eyes are open. She's ready to go. She's about to walk off that cliff and she has that dog with her. Whereas in the Fool in the Light Seers Tarot, she's more of, her eyes are closed. She's falling backwards into the water. She's not walking towards it. She's really in more of a trusting versus intentional movement or new adventure. There's also no sun in the Light Seers Tarot card, which I always thought was interesting. But the Pool of Consciousness. So really different imageries here, and they could really be interpreted in a few different ways. So I really like this. Let's keep going. Okay, the Magician. Very much a classic magician. I do like the contrast here again, though. I'm not going to go into every single card, but High Priestess. Yeah, this one's very modern. Very different vibes from these two High Priestesses. This one's like badass bitch. And she's like, I don't even know the word for her. Goddess? I don't even know the word for her right now. Very different though. Same with these Empresses. Very different Empress energies. Wow. Yeah, very different. Similar coloring though. I like that. Emperor. Got the ram in both of them. A lot of the same imagery. The cross leg. I really like the facial expressions in this deck though. I find in the Light Seers Tarot, they kind of, a lot of them have a similar facial expression of just like a flat affect, whereas I'm noticing in the Modern Witch, there's a lot more facial expression on these characters. The Hierophant. Ah, okay, this is what I really wanted another deck for, because of this interpretation of the Hierophant. I really wanted one that had, I don't know, more of the classic look to it as well, just for that additional interpretation. I really like this Hierophant. Very different imagery. Oh, I'm so excited to work with these decks together. This is going to be really fun. I also picked out the Modern Witch Tarot, these lovers, because I work with jumpers, and because of the glossy cardstock, it's usually easier to work with jumpers with those kinds of decks. So I wanted to see how it shuffled too. I'm really excited to see how it shuffles. Very different lovers cards. Again, very traditional. I like the Adam and Eve apple tree with the snake climbing up though. Yeah, I really like that Lovers card. Now, I don't love the Light Seers Tarot. I've already established I love the Light Seers Tarot, but I'm really liking these comparisons here. I like how here she's more in charge of the bike, and here he's letting the horses run it. Yeah, I like these too. I'm really happy with this so far. I feel like the imagery is different enough that I'm going to be able to get some different information from each deck, but they both still have enough imagery that speaks to me that I can understand or read the card without feeling like I need to go to the book. I mean, I have been reading tarot long enough now that I don't really feel like I need the book in general, but it is nice when I'm more of an intuitive reader, so I really need a deck that speaks to me, and this one is definitely speaking to me more than the traditional rider-waite. And it's giving me a bit of a different imagery than what I am currently working with. So I'm really liking that. I like too, yeah, different facial expressions. Really cool. Justice. The Hanged one. Very classic Hanged Man. I really like this Hangman. This one's really fun. I have an aerial yoga swing actually in my house, so that one just has such a fun energy to me. Death card. Yeah, very different. Wow, very different energies with these death cards. This one's very much like a rebirth, or like a new opportunity, like a new, not a new opportunity, but like a new start, a new beginning, and an abrupt end to something. This one is very like classic, like death, what you would think of. Like begging for mercy, laying on the ground. Oh boy, okay. Let's keep going. I don't know how I feel about that death card, honestly. I don't love that interpretation of death. I like these temperance cards. I like her classic foot in the water, foot on land. Devil. Tower. Holy cow, she's like pierced on the rock. I don't know, maybe that's in the traditional rider-waite too, and I've just never noticed. It's a little, I don't know what that noise was. Hopefully you didn't have to hear that. The star, very different imageries with these stars. Again, very classic. I like the body representation. Race representation, not as much gender representation, but it is a very feminine deck. But there are, like, I think the kings are like feminine, but they're more like gender neutral, which I really like. I wish more of the cards were actually gender neutral, so they could kind of go either way. I really like that interpretation of having a character that you can't really tell if it's a boy or a girl. It doesn't really matter if it's a boy or a girl. You can kind of sense the energy from that character either way. I like that for some of these cards. Let's keep going. The moon. Ooh, it's a creepy moon card too. That thing like gives me the willies. Gives me the willies, that card. The sun. Judgment. Yeah, quite a different imagery for the Judgment card too. But I like that. I like the contrast. The World. I'm not sure why her facial expression is so like hers is super happy, and then hers is like, you see me? I guess that vibe could go with the World, but interesting. I'll have to kind of feel into those energies more. Ace of Wands. Very different imagery, but I like the classic coming in. I like her long purple nails. They remind me of mine today. Okay. Two of Wands, similar imagery. I really like this Two of Wands though. Three of Wands. Four of Wands. Also quite different. Five of Wands. I like how some of them are unmasked and some of them aren't. It's like the battle between all the crazy, I'm not even going to say the word on YouTube because the video will probably flag me. You guys know what I'm talking about. I like that modern interpretation. It's kind of funny. Funny, but not funny. Six of Wands. I like these different interpretations a lot. These are very different. This one's like very much coming into power, being admired by others, whereas this one, it's like, well, there's some people looking away. Are they really being admired? Or are they just kind of like seeking that attention? I like the difference there. Seven of Wands. Ah, yeah, big difference again. Here, so she's like she's on higher ground, but she's still fighting off those sticks actively. Whereas this Seven of Wands, she's really like quieted herself and she's rising above, but not from this kind of energy. So I really like this contrast. I was really hoping, I mean, I kind of figured with the rider-waite, but I wanted that contrast in my deck. Eight of Wands. I like the motorcycle they added to this card. Nine of Wands. Again, very different energies with their facial expressions. She looks like she's kind of still on guard, and she looks like she just conquered the battle. Love that. This one too. She can't see the path ahead. She can. She's got someone helping carry her bag. She's trying to carry it all herself. You can see she's already been on this journey for a while, whereas her, I mean, who knows? Who knows how long she's been doing this to herself? Let's see. Page of Wands. Very different energy here. This is more of a, I've got this new thing and I'm curious about it, but a little more of an apprehensive energy, whereas this one's very much like, whoo, ready to go, ready to go. I like the difference, the contrast. Knight of Wands. Yeah, I like that. Similar horse imagery there. Queen of Wands. I like that they both have the black cats. I like that they're both like holding this in their hands. She's got a sunflower in here. She's like holding the fire. Yeah, I really like these different facial expressions too. I really like that I'm going to be able to read the people differently. Yeah, here's a good example of more of like one of the gender neutral ones where like it could kind of go either way. I really like that. I would like if more of the cards were like that. I like these Kings of Wands, both of them, both kind of very different. He's more looking out over his kingdom or her kingdom, and he's very much like forward and confident. I get a bit of a different vibe from them. Cup runneth over. I like the difference in imagery here too. This one's more like an offering. This one's more like you opening up your heart. I really like that as well. Two of Cups. Three of Cups. Try and fix these for you guys here. These cards are a little slippery. I like that different imagery again. Facing kind of all one direction versus facing towards each other. Get some different interpretations off of that. Four of Cups. I like that her sweater says over it. That's really funny. That's great. Over it. Five of Cups. I like the difference here too. She's sitting down. She's like really in this active draining of the cups where she's just like, they've already been knocked over, but she stood up and she's about to move on. Different energies again. We can see the bridge on the horizon. Whereas here it just looks like water. We have no idea where a new destination might be. I like this difference in interpretation too. That's really sweet. I really like this card. I really get inner child healing with this, like going back to your younger self and giving that inner child what it didn't get when it was young, and filling your cups back up from kind of the ground up. This one I see more as almost an evolution or a nostalgia card. Seven of Cups. I like the difference here too. I like here, this one we can't tell that they're all positive. It's more kind of like confusion or unsure. His face is really like, oh, I don't know, kind of uneasy. Whereas hers, she's got a lot of stuff that's like full of really nice things. And they're coming in from the clouds, so Spirit's bringing it in, and she's looking up and she's more like kind of optimistic about her options or seeing all of her options. The difference of where they're looking in direction. Maybe he's getting caught up in his emotions down here. I like that. I like that a lot. The Eight of Cups, very similar energies. I like the mountains in the back here though. And we've got the sun, I think, setting in this card, whereas the moon is out on this card. So again, difference with timing. It's like we're about to leave or we're deciding to leave, whereas we've already made the decision. That's the distinction I get with these two interpretations, which really cool. Nine of Cups. Wow, very different. Very like open, expansive, and then very kind of closed off, crossed legs, crossed arms. Very like linear cups versus very like explosive cup energy. I really like that contrast there. The difference of keeping our emotions close to us versus releasing and sharing that. I like that a lot. Ten of Cups. Really nice. Really similar imagery. They both have like a girl with short brown hair. Page of Cups. Again, with the Page of Cups, I kind of like this little apprehensive energy with it being, you know, the younger arcana, or the younger court card, sorry. I get more of an intuitive hit off of this one than this one, honestly. But we'll see when I start working with this one. She's really cute, though. The Knight of Cups. This one's interesting because here, like, he looks like a nice romantic guy. He's got his horse coming in. He's got a nice picnic ready for you. And she's like looking at this cup like, I got this to bring, but like, I don't even look confident about it, so you may not want it. And this horse doesn't look confident. And I don't know, like, I'm not getting a confident emotional energy from this Knight of Cups, which is a really interesting contrast because I very much get a passionate energy from this one. So I'm interested to see what the book says actually about that Knight of Cups and to start working with it. But very, very, like, at least for me and my interpretation, you guys can let me know down below if you interpret it differently, but just initial sense, like even the coloring is really different, like the pink versus the teal. I don't know. I like this one. Eyes closed versus eyes open. Hands on the cup versus hands off the cup. Fully immersed in the water versus dipping our toes in. I really like those different, lots of different interpretations we can get with that. Fully facing on versus facing away or towards the water. I like those differences. I think I could get some different intuitive hits off of those. King of Cups. I really like both of these Kings of Cups. Pretty different too. His eyes are closed, his eyes are open. Yeah. Let's keep going. Ace of Swords. I like having the classic imagery again coming in here, but I also really like this imagery. This imagery is really cool. Two of Swords. I like this contrast too. I like that she's sitting and the waters are both wavy and calm, whereas this just feels very chaotic to me. I don't get a calm sense or a taking a pause sense. I feel very like mentally confused. I like the contrast there. I know I've been saying that a lot. I'm just like really happy with this purchase and this flip through right now initially. I like that they added like this black blood, because it's not real blood with the swords, right? The swords is a mental journey. And it's almost like it's turning the light of the heart into darkness. That's really cool. The rain though, I'm not sure how I feel, what I get yet intuitively from that rain, but I guess it's stormy here too, so it's just meant to signify kind of storms. Interesting. Four of Swords, very different energy. She looks very peaceful and restful, and she's like stressed to the max. She's like, oh my God, what is happening in my life? And these swords, like, honestly, if I was laying here under these four super sharp swords, I would be pretty nervous that like it could fall off, or I'd like throw my arm up and, and scratch myself. I don't really know. So I get a very different sense from this too, like an uneasy rest versus a peaceful rest. Five of Swords. I like this. I have a hard time with this one. I've been trying to work a lot with the Five of Swords, and I like this interpretation to give me a little bit of a different way of looking at it. Six of Swords. Similar energies for me. These two have very similar energies. Letting something else steer the boat, looking down, taking your baggage with you. Yeah, very similar for those two. Seven of Swords. Pretty similar with like the thievery kind of vibe, but I mean, she could be more like putting them back. He doesn't have that vibe though. He seems very sketchy to me, if I'm being honest. She not so much. She's dressed nice. She could just be carrying these swords to like take them somewhere else. I don't really know. So I like the more open-ended interpretation of her. It's more daylight, so it's not as like spooky as Under the Moonlight. I like that contrast there. Eight of Swords. Again, very different imagery, but both blindfolded and tied up. This is pretty, just like classic rider-waite. This is what I wanted as well, because I love this Ten of Swords, but I wanted a classic one where the swords are actively in the back. And this deck actually has an extra card where it's the Ten of Swords again, but it says everything is fine. Because everything is fine. And that's what this Ten of Swords shows. But this deck added an extra card to be able to show that. So again, why we like to have more than one deck sometimes, right? Page of Swords. This one's really different. I love this Page of Swords. She's like me, her, same. If I like could pick a card to like maybe put as my picture, I would pick her. Because I feel very much like her. Like I get kind of swept away by new ideas and new knowledge, and I love learning, and I love getting absorbed in new material and books, and constantly expanding my energy, and always trying to achieve a balance. I don't get that with this Page of Swords, so that's really interesting. This Page of Swords, like she's got this big heavy sword and she's all awkward, but like I guess that's true, because that's also, you know, I mean, me and everybody, when we try to start with something new that we just learned, we're awkward at first. But I really love this contrast, because the Page of Swords is a heart card for me. It's one of my key cards in the deck. So I really like that I'm getting a really different vibe from these two. That's so funny. I'm excited to work with these. So excited. I like this Knight of Swords. Very cool. I like the difference in the Queen of Swords here. I like that this queen has her sword down, like a decision has been made already, and now she's just observing, whereas here, this queen, she's about to make a decision, and she's about to let people know what that is. I like that difference. Yeah, she's about to make things clear. Where she's keeping her emotions tucked away still. Or her. I mean, she's keeping her emotions tucked away too, because she is a Queen of Swords, but she's about to speak out, whereas I don't get the sense. She's more like sitting back. King of Swords. Ace of Pentacles. Two of Pentacles. Very similar. Looking down, juggling. These two are really similar. Three of Pentacles. This one's quite different. I really like it. Again, the idea of everyone working together on a project, but I just like the difference in imagery. Four of Pentacles. I like that for her. I more get the sense for her, like, she's built stability for herself. Like, she's in this big city. She's like sitting on her money bag. She's got like the stable footing. She's got an inspiration with her career. She's got, you know, she cares about what she's doing or the wealth that she's made so far. I mean, she might be holding a little tightly, but I don't get that vibe as much from this Four of Pentacles as I do this one, where she's like, I'm just gonna hold this tight. She's got her eyes closed. She's looking away. she looks like she doesn't really live maybe in the nicest area. So more that scarcity, like holding tightly onto what we have versus having finally built some stability for ourselves and feeling good in that. 5 of Pentacles. I really wanted one of these classic kind of 5 of Pentacles where they were out in the cold, trying to find somewhere to find warmth and abundance, because here she's trapped inside and it's the opposite. So I really like that contrast there. 6 of Pentacles. 7 of Pentacles. I like the 7 of Pentacles. She does not look impressed. For him, I don't get the interpretation as much from his face that he's not impressed. I see like he's patiently waiting and everything is just like starting to sprout. Whereas her, she's like looking at this harvest and she's like, this was not what I expected, or this is taking a lot longer than I wanted it to. And I really like that different interpretation off these cards. 8 of Pentacles. The sense I get here that's different, 8 of Pentacles is one of my other like heart cards in this deck. This is another one that I would totally make like a profile picture. I feel here she's like inspired, very inspired by what she's doing. And here maybe less so, kind of more just like doing the day-to-day drudgery work of it. Still building good things for herself, but more kind of going through the motions versus really feeling creative and inspired and in tune with what it is we're creating. 8 of Pentacles. Or sorry, 8 of Pentacles, 9 of Pentacles. What am I saying? I like that she looks a little older. I like that diversity in age a little bit. Like she's got, it looks like some lines on her face maybe. I like those. 10 of Pentacles. I get a better vibe off of, like a bit of a different vibe off of this one. An easier vibe. This one I'm having kind of a harder time. I'll have to work with that one a little bit. Page of Pentacles. Quite different again. 1 foot versus 2 feet. City versus forest. Eyes open versus eyes closed. Holding it close to the heart or holding it kind of up as a new inspiration. I see this kind of as like a new inspiration versus this is like deciding where to ground. Deciding where to move next, the forest or the city. What to do next. I like that she's got a backpack on too. The Knight of Pentacles. I like this Knight of Pentacles that it's more of like that kind of steady motion too, although the horse is standing still. So there's a difference here. This horse is walking, he's walking, and they are still. We also only see 1 pentacle in this card versus we can already see these seeds that he's sown. So I see here like this Knight of Pentacles has already started doing the work, the day-to-day work, and this Knight of Pentacles is about to get started. She's probably looking at this like, I got a lot of work ahead of me, but she's got her gear on and she's ready to go. I really like that. Queen of Pentacles. I like the difference here too. I like that this queen, both of them have their eyes shut, but she's kind of like looking off to the side. She has her chin up. She's holding her pentacle loosely and down. She's not worried about losing it. And this queen is a little bit different. She's more like holding onto and cherishing that which she has created. She's looking down at it. So slightly different energies, but 2 very beautiful queens. King of Pentacles. I like the really kind feel I get from the King of Pentacles, both of them. They just look like really kind guys, really cool guys. Yeah, I don't really have anything else to say on that. Oh, and then the last card, everything is fine, which is the equivalent of this one's 10 of Swords. I am really, really happy with that. That has, those have really similar vibes. So let me show you, or really similar vibes, oh my goodness. Those have really different vibes, that's what I meant to say. Let me do a little shuffling so I can show you maybe the difference and so I can get a feel for how they shuffle. I love how this one shuffles. I don't riffle shuffle my tarot decks. I do riffle shuffle when I play regular card games, but I like to keep my tarot decks very nice and neat, and because I work with jumpers as well, I prefer to overhand shuffle. So this one shuffles really nicely. I get really nice pull-out cards. I get a lot of jumpers with this deck. It's a really sturdy, nice deck. I have really small hands and it's not even too big for my hands. Like it's almost too big. So I'm a little nervous about this other one because this other one is bigger. So let me actually show you the size compared, like I can't even, oh my goodness, the size difference. I mean, I don't think it's like crazy, but it's just, yeah, so definitely a little thicker, but let's see how it shuffles. Let's see. Little itty bitty hands are definitely glossier. Oh, I mean, once I get used to like the slightly bigger thickness and the difference in the cardstock, I actually think I'm really gonna like this. I know I'm a little awkward right now, of course on camera. It's because they're slippery, honestly. It's a little trickier because they're so slippery, but I could see why this would be good for working with cards that jump or cards that stick out, because it makes the cards that are sticking out really obvious. And they would jump a lot easier with this kind of glossier texture. So I'm really excited to work with this deck. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I'm sure you will see this deck in upcoming pick a card readings, pick a pile readings. So you'll get to see me work with it as well. But until then, I hope you guys all have an awesome, awesome week. Thanks so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, leave me a comment down below which deck was your favorite. And I will see you guys soon for a pick a card.